Climate czar John Kerry blowing wind during a climate lecture in Dubai. But did the greenhouse gases that he wanted to eliminate come from within?
I find myself getting more and more militant because I do not understand how adults who are in position of responsibility can be avoiding responsibility for taking away those things that are killing people on a daily basis. And the reality is that...
Yep. But let's pass on the sophomoric humor for a second and get to the bigger picture. Kerry letting one rip on banning coal plants.
Now, we don't need that necessarily to tell us we ought to be transitioning out of coal. There shouldn't be any more coal-fired power plants permitted anywhere in the world. That's how you can do something for health. And the reality is that we're not doing it.
Lurch also trying to clear the air on whether politics plays a role in his climate crusade.
I'm guided by the science. And I can tell you, honestly, there is zero politics or ideology in any decision that the President Biden has made or the administration has made. We are driven by the science.
Something seriously stinks about Biden's green agenda. They want to ban gas cars and force everyone to drive an EV. But get this, it's been 2 years since Congress gave Biden $7.5 billion to build thousands of EV chargers across the country. But holy Cylindra, that program has yet to install a single charger. Well, we've had breaking news. Now we have breaking wind news.
You dealt it.
Yeah, exactly. Once again, we tackle the news no one else will cover. This story would not have happened on The Five were it not for me being employed by Fox News.
This is true. This is your dream come true segment.
Exactly.
After 13 years, you finally have the producers really understand you, and I think that's a really great step in your relationship.
But isn't this kind of it's an analogy or a microcosm of how these climate hysterics are often the biggest offenders when producing carbon emissions, right? This one just came out of his butt, but let's face it, he's got tons of boats, tons of houses, tons of private jets flying around.
And he joins Bill Gates, who today wrote in the New York Times that very wealthy individuals should also be making changes to their lifestyles to bring their emissions close to zero. He says that if you fly in a private jet, as I do, you can afford the extra cost of sustainable aviation fuel made from low-carbon crops and waste. I would love to see a rich person who raises their hand and says, just please let me experiment in my plane with crops and waste.
Well, I mean, it's interesting. He says waste, Judge. Is he alluding to the fact that one day maybe John Kerry could power his own jet with his flatulence?
Yeah, well, you know, when you think about it, it was a few years ago when they said they didn't want us to eat meat anymore because of the flatulence of cows.
That's right.
I mean, they wanted to get rid of all the cows. I mean, I'm waiting for when they say if you're too old and you pass flatulence, we're going to get rid of you too.
They're doing that in Canada.
They are?
I don't know.
Who knows? Anyway, but the whole point is, in a year and a half, the Kerry family has emitted 325 tons of carbon from their private jet. I mean, and, you know, Kamala Harris over Thanksgiving was wishing a happy Thanksgiving from her family to ours, and she's standing right in front of a gas stove. I mean, the hypocrisy is incredible. But I think the one quote that really got me was when Kerry says that we're not going to tolerate, we're going to phase out coal-fired power plants all over the world. Except, wait a minute, you're giving China the ability to make lithium batteries, and they're developing 2 coal-fired power plants a week. Now, I think they're in the world, the last I checked. But the truth is, all of this money, $7.5 billion, we've built so far 0, we've installed 0, and yet they expect us to, by the end of the decade, to be able to have 50% of us in these EVs when everybody's got anxiety about getting into one.
No chargers around there. You know, Jessica, let's talk about the real story here. It's not that Kerry broke wind. It's that this doesn't happen more often. Don't you think? I mean, we act like it's just, but isn't this just something we do all the time, but we just don't talk about it?
So for the first time ever, if he had said, Jessica, you were saying before the show started, because I was saying that I'm actually surprised that there aren't more farts caught on live television with the amount of gas that humans are passing constantly.
Right.
More boys than girls, by the way, are doing it.
Sexist.
You go.
Fine. You go, girl, on that one. And Jesse's not fact-checking.
That's an interesting point. If you transition from male to female, would you break wind less?
I don't know how the sphincter changes in the evolution. Actually, a producer just said the time. I thought he was saying, please stop this right now. It was exciting, though. And I was curious about if you had, like, a fart clause in your contract. Like, you got to talk about it at a certain amount of times without hearing from management.
Well, the onus is on Fox.
Oh, that's good.
Just a little bit. There should be more EV chargers. If you have the money for it, definitely do it. But on the emissions from the Kerry family, it's the Heinz family, right? He married Teresa Heinz of ketchup fame. Yeah. They are the ones with the money and the private jets. He flies commercial for all government business, as everybody has before. These goals are aspirational, and that's what these conferences are for. We talk about this with Davos, right? And everyone shows up and they say all these incredible things that they're going to do to make us a more balanced, equal society, and it doesn't happen. And then everyone gets back and they're gas guzzlers and all of it, and rides off into the distance.
Yeah, and you raise a good point.
Really?
John Kerry's money comes from the Heinz family. What is Heinz? It's ketchup. What do you do with ketchup? You put it on beef. What does beef do? Causes you to fart.
I don't think you're...
The circle of life is complete.
Right.
Good steak doesn't need ketchup, though.
Yeah, that is true. Jesse, I come to you last because I feel like you're going to pierce through this fog of...
Greg, I'm glad you brought up Heinz.
Yes.
Because they own Kraft, and that kills people. Coal isn't killing that many people. I think all the food,
is doing it?
It's the mac and cheese. It's the cheese product.
Yep.
His family is poisoning
Jesse.
the people of this country with preservatives and additives and sugar, and that's what's actually killing us. A few coal plants, come on. Also, Greg, you can't trust a man with fillers at that age, Botox at that age. That brings up the question of judgment. What kind of judgment does that show? What kind of arrogance or egotism? Is that a word, egotism?
It is.
It is now.
Does that
Egoism.
show?
Yes.
So he's going around sticking stuff in his face, wagging his finger and telling the whole world what to do. No one cares. Now I know why they don't like us in this country. It's because of people like John Kerry. It's not Trump, it's Kerry. They're sick of him. And 15% of the U.S. economy is run on coal. We're just going to shut down 15% of the economy because Kerry wants to? That's stupid. Why do we even listen to John Kerry? He's an idiot. He's a maniac. He's going around telling people to shut their economies down. That's insane. This guy is disqualified. And Joe Biden, after 3 years, hasn't built a single charging station.
Yep.
Not one charging station. But they say, Greg, that this is so urgent that the world's going to end. We have to do this. Well, then why don't they warp speed it?
Yeah.
Why don't they cut all the red tape and get these charging stations like they did with the vaccine? They don't care. It's not that urgent.
They're not capable.
It's, right.
They have been built, but just with private dollars.
Yeah, but not our taxpayers.
What about the $7 billion?
$7.5 billion.
There's a distinction between private funds and public.
Why can't Biden build one charger?
Right. Why can't we do as well
I hope
as
he does
private
it
industry?
tomorrow.
Where's the charger?
Okay.
I think this is why they want us to eat insects, because if you fart, all you're going to hear is crickets.
Okay. This is done.
I can't wait for your show tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be it's going to be 60 minutes of fart jokes.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.